Is one of the best things for the physicians and researchers in the room to come up here and see this sea of green and white, and to hear patients and their perspective really tells us the urgency and the importance of the work we are doing. The schedule says you will be hearing from Melinda Bikini. Melinda, can you just stand and wave? And her husband, who are both here, and they have an incredible journey and story. Melinda was on the cover of Science magazine, but she doesn't believe she's extraordinary. She believes she's just another person, maybe just the Jackie Robinson of this disease, who's paved the way for so many of you to believe in trials, to believe in immunotherapy, because if she could do it, you can do it too. And wanted someone else to speak instead, so you will be hearing from Michelle Clayton, another inspiring patient, and her journey, and she's also a volunteer, so welcome.
While Michelle is coming up, we'll just take a break right after Michelle is done, and all the patients and everyone who bought the green t-shirts, Matt Barr is going to take a picture in the lobby, so if you could just go directly out to the lobby, appreciate that.
Can you tell me how to use this? Just the green one. All right. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So good morning. My name is Michelle Clayton. I'm a cholangiocarcinoma patient. Thank you for the opportunity for letting me tell my story. Imagine, if you will, a thread, a single silk strand. It attaches itself to you, and it starts encircling you all around your body, working its way up and down, covering you entirely. It's getting tighter and tighter, and the world is getting darker and darker. You feel trapped. You can feel your body struggling, but then everything stops. At the end of 2008, I was preparing to have bariatric surgery. I was obese all of my adult life. I was on a 6-month supervised diet, and we found a tumor in my chest. And in January of 2009, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I did 6 months of chemotherapy and a month of radiation, and then I was cleared. And my oncologist told me, 1 year cancer-free, and I'll approve you for the surgery. So forward to April of 2011, I had the biliopancreatic diversion with duodenal switch, which I think is important with the words that are in there. And that is the Cadillac of weight loss surgeries. So I was so happy. I had lost 230 pounds. I was doing things that I had never done before, of which was coaching my little girls' T-ball and coach pitch teams. And during my 3rd year of coaching, I was like, something's not right. I couldn't make it through an entire game without sitting down. I felt like somebody was dragging me around life by my collar. And I knew that I had deficiencies with my surgery. You're malabsorptive, so I wasn't absorbing all of my vitamins and minerals, and I really thought the iron level was what the problem was. So I talked to my bariatric surgeon, and he sent me to the ER. And he said, let's just check for an intestinal blockage. And so as I was in the ER doctor comes in, he says, well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. And the good news is you don't have an intestinal blockage. The bad news is you have a huge tumor on your liver you might want to call your oncologist about. So they gave me a biopsy, and my oncologist was out of the country, and his colleague told me that I had cholangiocarcinoma and that I had less than 18 months to live. Well, that didn't bode well with me, because as you can see, I have a beautiful family that I needed to be there for. So I had chemo right away, and I took Gemzar cisplatin for 18 months. I had very good shrinkage. And then after the 18 months, we found a new spot on my liver. So we decided to take a break, and at months 3, 6, and 9 on the scans, I remained stable. And then on the year scan, the 12-month scan, they found one spot on each one of my lungs, and that was in December of 2016. So last year, I was at my 2nd annual conference, and I was scheduled to go to the NIH the following week. And one of the doctors met with me, and he asked me, he's like, why are you not doing targeted therapy first? Thank you. And I told him the reason is just because that was the first trial that I found. And I really kind of felt like it was a nod to go in another direction. So I went up to my room and texted my oncologist, and I said, I'm canceling my trip. And this was to the NIH. So he called me immediately. We discussed it, and he agreed that he would help me find a plan this specifically for my mutations. So in March of 2017, I started the INCB 54828 trial, and I had excellent results for my first few scans, and then a new spot showed up on my liver, which obviously kicked me off the trial. And I want to really quickly address a couple of things like support, how I found it, and where I found it. So my oldest daughter found 2 Facebook groups, one of which was pretty dismal. I often considered leaving it, but I stick around so that I can bring hope to some of the people in that room and also recruit them to another group that we have, which is a group of mostly patients run by Sarah Bennett. And that's really been invaluable to me. I've gained lifelong friends, which is a funny variable for us. With the friendships are with complete strangers who get me and every single thing that I'm going through. My daughter also found the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation, which has given me hope in times of desperation when I didn't know which way to turn. I also want to touch briefly on chemotherapy and how I handled it. The physical aspects are things that are to be expected, a little nausea, some fatigue, some mouth sores, and the old steroid bloat, which didn't go well with somebody who had lost 230 pounds. The emotional side of things, I reached out to my Facebook friends and family, and I would literally let people know that I was looking for chemo buddies. And people came from everywhere. I had old high school acquaintances, distant cousins, people who I had not ever even met in real life came out to be my chemo buddies, along with family members and fellow church members. I never lacked friendships throughout my chemo time. I had them lined up for like 3 months in advance. I had a schedule and they just said, I'll take that date, I'll take that date. It was wonderful. And of course I had my family, my parents and my siblings and nieces and nephews. They were also a good support. I want to also touch on trials, where and how to find them. I would suggest and really urge patients to get genomic testing done on the tumor. This information is excellent for helping locate medicines that will work and eliminating others that they know will not work. There are some frustrations when you're trying to locate trials. Depending upon your insurance, you may find some hospitals off limits. And one of the larger hospitals that I was really interested in wanted $25,000 for me to see the doctor for the first visit. And that was a little heartbreaking for me, as you can imagine, as a single mom. I didn't have that kind of money. A good oncologist is key. Someone who knows cholangiocarcinoma would be very good, but they don't have to be. My oncologist is not, but I believe he does his due diligence. I know he researches alongside of me, and when I bring him new information, he will take that information, look at it with me, and we'll discuss that and move forward as needed. And alongside him is an excellent research team who's always looking for new trials. They call companies who have trials that are available not in my state and ask them to open new ones. The first trial we did, the one that I just finished, the Insight trial, they decided to let us open a trial there. And there's another one that I want to be on, and I was a little bummed out because they said, no, we're not interested currently in opening another site. And it's one that my fellow warriors with my same mutations are having excellent results with. And so I'm not going to give up hope on that one. Hospitals like the NIH, who are willing to give everyone a chance, that's a good place to start too. And you can search on their website for clinical trials available all over the country. So here I am at my third conference, learning new and upcoming information. I'm scheduled to go to the NIH in 2 weeks. But don't worry, Dr. Gretton, if you're in here, I'm still coming. I haven't changed my mind yet. And so I want to encourage everybody, don't stop looking, don't stop giving up. Do your research, learn, reach out to others, and go to the foundation who can help you. And for the doctors and clinicians, and especially researchers, I have the same request of you. Don't stop looking for a cure. Don't give up. Research, learn, and reach out to others. So the thread is covering you entirely. It's getting tighter and tighter, and the world is getting darker and darker. You feel trapped. You feel your body struggling, and then everything stops. I'm missing my card. But I will tell you that the trapping, the darkness is not a scary place. It's where the metamorphosis is taking place. The darkness is your cocoon. And as the cocoon starts to crumble and fall away, a beautiful butterfly emerges from the darkness. That's my story.